Hi, I'm Evan.
And I'm Mark. And on this week's episode,
it's season 3.
What do we talk about?
We talk about, well, we listened to a whole bunch of Mark going in circles.
What? Did we? Evan drops some amazing knowledge bombs.
I pretend to be Mark for a second, and he gets freaked out by it.
You did that as well? I don't remember that either. My memory is slipping now that I'm a feeler. Oh, right. Anyway, we cover all that on this episode.
Stay tuned.
Welcome to season 3 of the Something to Prove podcast. Now, season 1 took us up until Tony Robbins. It took us from February to July. Season 2 was extra long. It was an extra, I think, 11 episodes longer. We dug so much deeper and so much harder, and you beat me up so much more. You made me cry more times than in season 1 and season 2.
Well, you didn't cry once on episode.
On episode. Yeah. Yes, there is that truth. And then I Facebook messaged you after the last episode when I was so happy and so thrilled, and I thought that felt like the natural end to season 2.
All right.
It felt like the natural end. And so we're going into season 3 now.
This is it. Welcome to season 3. Now, Mark asked for some extra time because he needed to brainstorm format changes to the podcast. So I said, no problem, Mark. Take your extra time to brainstorm.
You were sick as well, right?
I was sick as well. I still am. I'm just kind of recovering. Today is my first speaking day.
I haven't spoken to you in a week.
Yeah, so I need to actually tone down my energy level. I should be. It's probably not going to happen.
What a way to start season 3.
Yeah, but what I'm very excited for is Mark spent all this time brainstorming format changes. So now he's going to tell us I don't know what amazing new format changes are coming.
Whoa, what's happening? Right?
Besides the fact that Mark's going to start off by interrupting me on season 3.
You want to take it again? Okay, Evan, I'll let you take it again. Okay, go ahead and make the announcement.
No. What? No, we're not doing it over again.
Exactly. That some things don't change despite the fact we're moving on to season 3.
Okay, so tell us what's different about season 3, Mark.
Well, so season 1, very clearly we were getting our feet wet. We learned probably about halfway through that season that if I wasn't working through the issue, if Evan didn't feel that I cared about the issue, he did not want to play ball at all.
Right. Yeah.
And so the original point.
Wait, what were those days? Those days were those were the come on, Mark days. Those are the come on, Mark days.
Yeah, no,
those are the sad days.
These were the are you really working through this? Do you really care about this? And so it was about April. We started in February. It was about halfway.
No fake. Those are the fake the fake years, not years. Right. The fake episodes.
Right. So I had to be working through it. We figured it out. And so, deeper into season 1, we were kind of working through some, mindset stuff and some other things. Season 2, we changed up from going to live to doing these kind of Zoom recordings. So we had more time to breathe. We had more time to work through things. And
that's true.
I progressed. I hit some hard challenges. I progressed really far. You pushed me really far. And so this is the interesting thing about season 3. It's now, how do we find the balance of things that I care about, but aren't just me, aren't just therapy hour for Mark?
Oh crap! We're back to season 1, the fake episodes.
No,
welcome to season 3.
No. I got to walk the fine line now of things that mean something to me that I care about, but are also a little bit more broad. So it's not just Mark therapy hour, but still get Evan interested enough to talk about.
Yeah, all I care is that you actually care about it. You have to. That's it.
Venn diagram.
You have to. You don't have to necessarily be working through it. You just have to care about it. Don't bring me topics that you don't care about that you just think our listeners are going to care about. That pisses me off. You have to actually care about it. So that's it.
So here's what I want to do for season 3.
Okay, you're all excited.
Every episode, I want to focus on a topic that I've actually researched and pulled these, but No, I haven't done research
back to those days again. We're back to season 1, ladies and gentlemen.
No,
this
Evan,
season 1 Redux.
What is written on this blank sheet of paper?
Wagner 3.
No, it's a season 3.
Oh, okay.
Look, this is the research prep. It's a blank sheet of paper. All it says is season 3. I'm keeping it so I can make a few notes.
For our new listeners, Mark used to print off pages.
I did it once. I did it once.
Pages that he just sat in front of the camera and read.
Once. I did it
We
once.
all fell asleep.
It was only for the episode on
Pages.
gosh, what was it? It was the imposter syndrome. It was the imposter syndrome.
Like the definitions from 18 different sources.
Okay.
Good.
Are you
Here we
ready?
are. Yes,
you ready?
Yes. I'm ready.
So I want to focus season 3. Might keep it a little bit short. This is an experiment. We'll see how it goes. I want to focus season 3, each episode on a different reason why we don't start something.
Okay.
Now I know everything is going to boil down to fear of being judged. Like we know that everything will be able to be reduced to being afraid, and that's fine. This is the Something to Prove podcast. This is for people who have something to prove, who muster up courage, make it happen, and all of those things. But despite all of that, there are things that keep me from starting. There are things that keep you from starting. There are things that keep other people from starting.
Okay.
So I'm trying to find the nice middle ground now between being up in the clouds, or we're just talking about stuff the audience might care about. These things are still things that affect me.
Okay.
Because I can point out all these areas of my life that they do, but they're not quite so deep that we make listeners uncomfortable about how hard you're pushing me.
Wait, are we moving away from discomfort? I like the discomfort.
You like the discomfort, but the only way to get to discomfort is either for us to invite people on, which is something Louie and I talked about, where we can push other people.
Okay.
Makes it a little bit hit and miss and a little bit random and a bit hard to gauge. Or you just keep beating the crap out of me. And haven't we run out of things for you to beat the crap out of me of?
I don't know.
I don't even know how to say that sentence.
I didn't know. Are you done growing?
No.
Okay, then great.
But I feel like
the feeling is one of his 3 core specialties.
Core strengths, yes. I feel like the answer are now just me repeating the lessons you've taught me over season 2 on bigger and bigger scales. So the answers will always come back to the same thing. You'll just be able to go to episode 15.
Let's just
episode
here we
18.
go. This is it. Let's do it. So
before we do.
Okay. Are we not catching up anymore? The catch up is done.
This is my catch up time.
Oh, okay. Great.
So, Evan, you may not remember, but before you got sick, and I think before you went away, you asked me to redo my Myers-Briggs.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Myers-Briggs for certain things. It helps you certain ways. I like other personality profiles better for like digging way deeper on fear-based things and other things. But I have been and have always been an INTP. So that means I'm introverted. That means I think it's intuitive is the N. I am a thinker, and I use perspective over judging. All of that said, they're different things, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You boil it all down, it comes down to that I'm an introverted thinker who is good at connecting abstract dots, and I don't have to see things. I don't have to feel, touch things. I'm not sensory. Like I can connect abstract dots.
Okay.
Evan said, "Hey, Mark, why don't you redo that test?" I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So I sit down, I go to 16personalities.com, which is a free assessment test.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my old test that I did, and I did it a whole bunch of times. But I had it from, 2016 or something. And I redid the test, and I got onto like question 4, and then I realized that I was answering the questions the way that I used to be, and not the way that I think I might be now, or not the way that I want to be. Because I was just going back into like when they said, "Hey, if you walk into a room, do you go hide in the corner?" And I went, "Hold on, when was the last time I was at a party? What did I do?" Blah, blah, blah. Like I was just thinking about my old version of myself, not the version of myself that either I think I'm becoming or the version that I want to be. So I redid the test.
And you came up with?
And do you remember the results?
I just remember the thinker went to feeler. I don't remember the rest.
That was the only change.
Oh, so you're an
INFP. So I went from being an INTP, a thinker. Now I was only like 20% on the thinking side because there's a spectrum. Yeah. And I've gone to being like 8% on the feeling side. But there you
Mark's
go.
A feeler.
He's not a thinker.
Mark's not a thinker. So 2 things come to mind with that. One, I mean, I already knew that was going to happen, so I'm excited. Mark's a feeler. I thought back to a mastermind meeting we had way back where you're talking about this whole Myers-Briggs thing, and you were so upset at how somebody on your team, I don't know if they're still there or not. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Somebody on your team was a feeler, and you can't hire feelers because feelers are just so.
Oh my goodness, extroverted feelers are like.
No. It wasn't the extroverted. No. It wasn't the extroverted part. It was the feelers that you can't handle feelers that you just need thinkers on your team.
Yes, exactly.
And how far we have come now.
Okay, do you want to know something else that's crazy? Ever since we gave Louie the team, and he's responsible for hiring the people and finding the people and bringing them on.
Yeah.
And he's just crushing it right now. Louis is an he's an ENFJ. An ENFJ. He's extroverted.
Okay, that's
he's
me.
a feeler.
Yeah,
okay, great. You and
no,
Louis.
but I'm an I. I'm an I. So he's extroverted. I'm introverted. We're the same, but he's the E.
So we have recently. What have we done? We've hired, I think, 4 new team members, and in the spring we hired a whole bunch more, and we're looking for more people. Guess what personality profile? Because when people apply for Fanta at our agency, they have to fill in a profile.
Okay.
9 out of 10 times, guess which profile comes up?
I don't know.
ENFJ.
Nice.
The exact thing that Louis is.
Okay.
And I go, now ENFJ is a fairly common profile. It's not like statistically there's more of them.
Okay.
We're also in a creative agency, so it makes sense that we'd have creative people. But I go, Louis, like, dude, man, like you're biasing the entire process in the way that you write it, in the way that you do the questions, in the way that you interview, and the things you talk about. You must be biasing it because everyone who's coming in for every type of role, whether they're an analyst or in creative or strategy, somehow they're all coming as ENFJs.
Okay.
And so it used to really bother me because I was like, I can't have a company of ENFJs. And then we just hired a bunch of ENFJs, and they're so delightful. They really are. And so now I'm just like, okay, that's okay. Okay, we're going to be a company of ENFJs. I guess that's going to happen.
Okay, so this isn't. So I mean, I don't super care about this, but
yeah,
I like to look at the differences. So Louis and I are the exact same, except I'm introverted and he's extroverted, according to his personality.
Are you pulling up strengths and weaknesses?
No, I don't care about that stuff.
Okay, because that's the most interesting part. It's the strength and weakness page, which is page 2 of it. 16 personalities.
Yeah. So, okay, we can go through it.
So, which one are you going through? Yourself first?
No. Hold on. No. That's not what I want to look at yet. So,
okay.
So I get the difference. So the difference between me and Louis is he's extroverted. I'm introverted.
Yes.
The difference between me and you. So I am INFJ and you're INFP.
Yes.
So it's just that last letter.
Yes.
So I'm a J and you're a P. What's the difference on J and P?
So one is you are judging and I'm perceptive. And if you just give me 10 seconds, I could look up what that last letter makes the difference of. I don't have this memorized, dude. I'm not a coach.
You've been talking Myers-Briggs 16 personalities for a decade. You hire people based off of this thing. You don't even know the difference between the last. Okay, keep going.
I know that one of them is judging and the other one's perspective. But whether it comes down to the energy thing or it comes down to the vision thing or all of those, I just look at the combinations. I don't look at the definition of what each thing means. Yeah, so you're judging. I'm perceiving.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hit it. Let me see here. Introverted versus extroverted, intuitive versus sensory, thinking versus feeling. Are you ready? Okay. The tactics scale, which is judging versus prospecting. Prospecting, like perspective. Okay, the tactics scale determines how we approach planning and how we handle available options. The implications reach well beyond our calendars, however. At its core, the scale determines our attitudes towards certainty and structure in our lives. So this is from 16personalities.com. People with the judging trait, you, do not like to keep their options open. They would rather prepare 5 different contingency plans and then wait for challenges to arrive. These individuals enjoy clarity and closure, always sticking to the plan rather than going with the flow. Individuals with the judging type tend to have a strong work ethic, putting their duties and responsibilities above all else. In contrast, prospecting individuals are flexible and relaxed when it comes to dealing with both expected and unexpected challenges. They are always scanning for opportunities and options, willing to jump at a moment's notice. People with this trait understand that life is full of possibilities, and they are reluctant to commit to something that might prove an inferior option in the future. That's totally my problem. They are also focused more on what makes them happy than what their parents, employers, teachers expect. There you go. That's the difference between judging and prospecting. You like more structure. I am always willing to jump at a moment's notice, but at the same time, I'm worried to make a decision because it might not be the right decision. You don't like it because you feel like you have all of it.
I feel like I have chunks of it.
Yeah. That's fine. Anyway, you're an INFJ, Louis an ENFJ. The whole thing here is I've moved from being a thinker to a feeler.
Yeah.
Other people on my team, I mean, look, this is the thing with Myers-Briggs is it has more, it's a more snapshot of your moment in time and how you perceive yourself. It's not like down to a personality profile that will never change, that's ingrained into you or
well, I thought that's what it was.
No.
I thought that's the whole idea. It's called 16 personalities, Mark. It's a personality test.
Yes. It's based on a lot of research, but it's not the reason why I use it mostly from from a strengths and weaknesses point of view is whether I'm an INFP or an INTP, there are certain traits that won't change in me. But the reason why I like Enneagram better, which is something that we haven't really gotten too much into, is that is fear-based. It's ingrained into you. It doesn't change. It will not change. There's just healthy versions of you and unhealthy versions of you. But what we do is we layer Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, and your love languages on top of one another to like really get an understanding of who people are and how to connect with them.
Lots of people say personality does not change.
There are core things I think that won't change within a personality. I don't know. I do know people who have changed their Myers-Briggs. I've worked to change my Myers-Briggs, but it just has to do with maybe resting state. Maybe it has to do with the motivations behind what you do.
Anyway, Mark's a feeler.
I'm a feeler.
Everybody's a feeler, by the way.
Someone reached out to me. I mean, I don't even think I announced this on Instagram, but someone reached out to me on IG and said, "Hey, I'm a thinker, Mark. I hear you turned into a feeler. How do I do that?" And I was like, one, I don't know. I'm not suggesting that being a thinker is a bad thing. You know, it's not like one is right and one is wrong. One is good and one is bad. I know, Evan, you maybe believe that, but it's because I was so caught up in my thinking that it was holding me back. It's not like if you are a healthy thinker who's not holding yourself back because of your overthinking that somehow you need to turn into a feeler. I don't think that's the case.
Everybody's a feeler first, and then a thinker. Mm-hmm. Everybody. If you think that you're a thinker first, then you are. Then yes, that is wrong. You are losing opportunities. It is 100% just wrong. And you need to tap into your feeling more. Now, a lot of feelers need to tap into the like if you identify feeling first, you have to tap into your thinking a lot more. But most people just overthink and don't tap into the feeling enough. You're an emotional being first. Humans are emotional beings first. And then we rationalize our actions, right? This is marketing, right? Like you make an emotional decision and then you rationalize why you made that decision. That's human. Except for the tiny percent of us who like have a brain misfunction, a chemical imbalance, right? If that's you, well, great. But otherwise, you're a feeler first. And you're both. You're a thinker and a feeler, but you're a feeler first, and then you're a thinker. Everybody.
And that gets us into this week's topic very nicely.
Okay, great. Here we go.
So what I wanted to talk about, and we've circled around a little bit about this, but I want to talk about blue ocean versus red ocean. So in this season, we're talking about things that keep people from starting.
Just depends if you're good.
Well, do you want me to hit you with the topic, or do you want to just go straight to the answer?
All right, go.
So I did see a comment come up that reminded me of what I do to myself as well. So anytime that I start to jump into anything new, so I want to be a speaker, I want to go on Instagram, I want to make better thought leadership videos, I want to write a book. Of course, we say, who am I to do that? But we think we have to come up with the idea, right? Like, I'm going to start a business as soon as I come up with that like great idea, or I want to start Instagram as soon as I figure out what my space is, what my thing is, what I'm going to say, who my audience is going to be. And so we plan on coming up with these amazing ideas, and then we waste way too much time doing it. And then we do it, and then we get super excited, And then we find out someone else is already doing it. Someone came up with the idea. Someone has the business. Someone speaks the way that we speak or has an audience we have. And they're so much bigger than us and they're ahead of us. And so we get crushed because we think we can't start. Someone else is doing it.
Why do you care, Mark?
Why do I care?
Yep.
Okay.
You have to show me you care because I'm losing interest in this topic. I don't like the we do this.
Fine. This has stopped me, but this is still stopping me from speaking.
Oh, okay.
Right. I think, well, so here's where I'm split. I've joined EO, right? Entrepreneur Organization. And I was at a welcome lunch.
Did you join? Did you officially join in?
I joined way before. When you told me that I shouldn't be a member of it, I had already joined and paid. So.
Oh, crap. Okay. And
so
are you getting value from it at least?
Yeah, actually, it's interesting. So, not in the way that I think you think that I would get value, but anyway, so I'm at this lunch, and the first thing they want you to say is like name, company, a little bit about yourself. You have like 2 or 3 minutes, but they want to know why you joined. And so people go around and they go like, I've been running my business, and I just feel alone. I want to take my business to the next level. Blah blah. Anyway, they hit me. And I was just like, I don't know. I was hyper that day.
You're ready. No. You weren't hyper that day. No, here's what's happening. Mark is sitting at a table and when he gets in there, he's a little nervous.
I'm thinking about what I'm going to say.
Well, no, but also it's like, he's a little, there's entrepreneurs in the room. He's a little nervous. There's been this anticipation building up to the day of like, who's going to be there? And am I good enough to be at the table and all this stuff? Mm-hmm. And then as they start going around, in his head is like, man, I am going to crush all of these guys with my speech.
Yes.
I'm gonna crush all of them.
That's exactly what happened.
Nobody answered the question properly. They're talking way too long. There's zero value. All of these people are insanely boring. And I'm going to get up for my 3 minutes and absolutely crush it. It wasn't because you were super spastic that day. That's the reason why you got up and crushed it. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so I introduced...
Am I right?
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
Yeah, okay.
I introduced myself and I explained the type of agency that I want to build, how my intention, my mission is to be able to help any entrepreneur with any challenge and how challenging that is and how it's lofty and it's big. But more than anything, what I want out of EO is I want to surround myself with entrepreneurs that impress me. I want to know what they're doing, what they're thinking, what they fear. I want to be surrounded with people that actually impress me. You don't like that, eh? Anyway.
No. I love it. I love that. Here's the thing.
You're worried they're not there.
Oh, for sure they're not there. Nobody's that group. You realized as you said it, the level of disrespect you had for almost everybody after hearing what they said about themselves was so paramount that you realize as you're saying it that these are not the people for you. And you're almost talking down to them because you feel not out of ego, out of like empathy, because you feel bad for them.
There was a guy there.
No, hold on. Okay. There's like, but there's like 1 or 2 people maybe in the room because everybody else. Here's the really sad part. As much as you're crushing your speech and you're saying like the actual thing that they need to hear, 98% of the room are not even listening or processing what you said. They don't get it. They don't even see how great that what you just said as a model or template for what they should be doing in their life. They don't even see it. It's going right over their head, except for like 1 or 2 people in the room. Right?
Yeah. So I stand up and I say this thing and I'm like,
did you record it?
No. It's a private. EO has confidential kind of private meetings and
you
stuff.
Could record yourself. Just put audio record your speech.
Maybe I should have. But anyway, so
it's such a waste of time, this group. Okay, keep going.
Anyway, so I was so proud of myself when I sat down because I hadn't really articulate.
Oh, you crushed it, dude.
I really
hadn't articulated so hard. I know it.
Who I am quite as well, and so I was like, I sat down and there was like silence, and people were like. And the guy hosting the meeting is like, yeah. And so here's the thing.
So sad.
I get into these environments and I look around and I'm just like,
disappointed.
I'm so next level.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I'm so next level.
That's what I'm saying.
At the same time, I go, why aren't I starting?
Yeah.
Why aren't I starting? I know that like I know it's fear. I know it's fear of judgment. I know it's lack of focus. I know the reasons, but this applies to like all kinds of things. Why do I sit on something for 9 months? Why do I wait? Why do I do all of these things? Why do people who think that they have to have the perfect answer because that's somehow going to make it work? And then when they find out someone is doing it already, which is the same thing that happens with me on Instagram, like I honestly go like, why, what's the point of me building up an Instagram channel when Gary Vee's already doing it? Right? Because we want this all or nothing mentality. Like we want the climb and we want to be the best, but we don't want to go up against people who are already there.
Okay. So back it up.
How's that for season 3?
A couple things. Yeah. The season 3 started off on a really slow. We've got back to Mark reading research and stuff.
Research? There's no research.
Yeah, you had to read the difference between the P and the T or whatever.
Because you asked me. I don't know.
Because I expect you to know. Mr. Like,
listen, you want to talk about Enneagram? You want to talk about Enneagram?
No,
that stuff I know. That stuff's deep. That stuff's next level. You don't want to get into that. So
I don't want to talk. Well, listen, that's a different episode. Let me while I still have all my thoughts swirling around in this head as I'm recovering.
Go.
There was a recording. I think it was off our last episode where I said, Mark, go back and watch this thing. No, it was our Q&A session.
No, you're talking about when you wanted me to go back and watch it for delivery?
Yes.
Jacqueline's story? Yeah, that was in the Mark, the happy episode. That was the last episode.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
And
I sent you a scripted and an unscripted version of me giving a read. Louis, hands down, likes the unscripted version better. So I'm redoing my approach completely. I'm going to script something. I'm going to do a few scripted deliveries, and then I'm going to take that script and I'm going to go like this and throw it away, and then I'm going to just do it off the cuff. That's the new approach. It takes an incredible amount of time to make a video now.
Great. You're working on a skill.
I know. Yeah. Why do you ask?
Because your speech that you gave at EO, where you blew their faces off, and it's so hilarious that you're talking about I want to surround myself with next level people, realizing that nobody in the room is actually that person. Like you're in the wrong group. You're
being mean. I mean, listen.
I'm not being mean. I'm being honest.
Okay.
There's 1 to 2 people who you might be able to have some kind of connection with, and nobody else in that group is going to be somebody who's going to push you. You're just not going to respect their opinion. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to go to a meeting. You're going to say, hey, I'm struggling with this. And somebody's going to come up to you and say, Mark, I think you should do this. And in your head, it's like, I don't respect this person.
That happened to me the other day at the gym. I was doing these really heavy squats with weights. I don't know what I had, like 260. So I'm doing 120 pounds. And this woman that I sometimes work out, rarely, but I work out beside, she turns to me and she goes, when you're doing the goblet squat, make sure that you point your toes out a bit more. And I was just like, and I just kept going. And then later I realized, thanks. I was like, what are you, you're using tens. Like, I'm going to listen. No, come on.
Talk about who's being mean now. Who's being mean now? This isn't mean. This is the problem. You will not respect the people in that room when they come and tell you, apart from like 1% of the people, right? There's 1 or 2 people who you might have some kind of connection with. And the best thing you can do is get their phone number and email and try to find a way to connect. And like
you've taught me, you believe that you can learn from anybody.
You can learn certain things from anybody. Yes.
Right. So hold on. I want to hold on to that. You can learn from anybody.
No. Hold on.
And 2, I get super judgy. And so sometimes.
Hold on. Wait. You get super what?
Judgy.
I thought you weren't judgmental.
No. It's not judgmental versus prospecting. It's the way that you. No, see, this is the same thing Jacqueline goes. She goes, oh, you think you're not judgy because you're a P and I'm a J. And I'm like, no, I'm super judgy. I'm a super judgy person. But
and what's the difference? What's J? J is judgmental.
It's not judgmental. It's judging versus prospecting.
Right. Okay.
Perspective.
Sure.
Whatever, dude. Okay. I'm not so in love with Myers-Briggs that I'm not willing to say, like, let's
You can learn from anybody.
You can learn from anybody. And often I end up learning from people that I did like when I went to the EO forum training, I learned a brand new skill. I learned a really interesting way to approach listening to people and giving feedback that
Awesome.
if I was closed-minded if I didn't give the time to, then wouldn't have learned that.
Dude, great opportunity cost of a full day of Mark Drager's time against doing other things. You could read Russell Brunson's next book and get way more than you would from sitting in a full day EO training on whatever the heck it was. It's not that you're not going to learn anything. It's opportunity cost. Yes, you can learn different things from different people. You can learn from anybody. Yes, great. But the things that you're going there to learn a specific thing. You're going there to present a problem, say, I want to, Nina goes in a door on me. I want to learn how to XYZ, right? The guys in that group, I'm sure could tell you how to hang a picture better. They've got like tons of skills that you don't know how to do, but not in the things that you care about. That's the problem. The woman next to you at the gym can teach you a million things. But what she's telling you is about how to do a goblet squat, which you don't want her feedback on. Please don't talk to me about goblet squats. But the next time I need to get a tattoo, awesome. You've got your whole arm covered. You probably know a thing or two about it. That's the thing. So yes, you can learn from everybody, but you're interested in learning and acquiring certain skills. And when you're disrespecting the people in the room and their ability to actually do it because they don't have the skills, you already have more. You're going to come in with the problem knowing that you already know the answer more than they know the answer. That's the problem. Those are not next level people who are going to push you to do something great.
Guys, listeners,
period.
I'm trying to make this not about me. No one can accuse me of just making this about Mark all the time.
Wait, who says it's about, who accuses you of making it about Mark all the time?
Oh, come on. It's all about Mark.
Yeah, but who accuses you? Who's upset about that?
I don't know. I haven't heard that feedback, but I'm sure
great,
it exists.
awesome. Nobody's
sure it exists.
Nobody.
I'm sure people go like, "Oh gosh, this Mark guy." Like,
no,
does it have to be about him all the time?
Nobody's saying that. What people are actually saying is, "Oh, this actually started getting interesting once we made it personal." Besides Mark saying, "Blue ocean, red ocean, we all do this stuff, and we all think about this." Like, Mark, why do you care? I've
never seen Evan go into that voice before. Is that how you think I talk? Blue ocean, red ocean.
That's what it was. Until you made it meaningful, that's what it was. You're like, you say you want to get out of the clouds, you got to make it meaningful.
Well, where I was going with this EO story is I know that there are groups of people that I can connect with or speak to that I can blow their faces off of. Mm-hmm. And then there's the next level where I'm one of them. And then there's a level above that where I don't even have the ability yet to break their minds. So your eyebrows are up.
I'm waiting.
Oh, okay. So a big thing that holds me back, a big thing that holds other people back. I will keep circling back to the topic until we answer the question is we want to do something. We get excited about something. I want to be a speaker. I want to do those things. The world is not waiting for Mark Drager to the world's not waiting for me to start speaking.
Okay. And
help me answer this question, Evan. Season 3 isn't about Mark. Season 3 is about helping crush the things that keep us from starting things.
Okay. So what you need to do is when you're
I'm sure you've had ideas or gotten excited about something and think, I'm going to do this. This is the greatest thing ever. I love this. This is so good. And then you find out that someone else has done it and the magic's worn off. You're just like, yeah, never mind. Someone else is already doing it. I want to be the only person doing that.
Ooh.
Or you get super excited about something. You think you're going to do it. You see someone else is doing it really well. And you just go, I can't do this. Like they're already 4 years ahead of me. I can't do it. Never?
I'm trying to think. Like I have my book, Your One Word, the first book. And that was what, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago?
No, you were interviewing me. I sent you an email. You were interviewing me in September of 2013. So 7 years ago, 6.5 years ago, you were interviewing me and you were writing the book. I don't know when it came out.
Oh, okay. So okay.
It was December 6th. I know
it was released. Yeah, it was released like
Here, I can find
let's say, and it doesn't matter. 3.5 years ago.
You think?
And so and it was another year plus to write it. The point of that is when I came up with the title, Your One Word, mm-hmm. there were two other books called Your One Word. Mm-hmm. I have them. One's a religious book.
2016, December 6th, 2016.
And there was another one. I forget what it was. And internally, my the publisher was not happy. It's like, oh, we can't call it Your One Word because there's another book called Your One Word. And the level of disrespect I had for the other two books called Your One Word was so paramount that like, okay, whatever. You know what? I'm gonna order these books and just see. And I got it. It's like, come on, right? Like, mine's way better. And I just pushed it through. It's like, no, we're calling it this. This is what it needs to be called. Let's go. Now, I guess if Tony Robbins had a book called Your One Word and just think, yeah, then I wouldn't call it. Then it doesn't even feel like it's my own. Like the concept.
Well, so here's something, right? Like, so when you started doing what you did on YouTube, what you do on YouTube, you built something for yourself because it didn't exist, right? You wish that you had
everything. Like everything could be seen as it's the lens through which you decide to see the world. It's that deciding factor. Because I could have said, there's lots of stuff. There's lots of people modeling success. There's lots of people creating content. There's lots of people doing stuff. So I'm not going to start. Or I could say, no, the way I see the world is different. I have a unique perspective. I'm going to bring that. Like for the speaking, it's the same thing. You could say that, well, Gary Vee exists and Tony Robbins exists and Brendan Burchard exists and all these people exist. So Mark Drager's not going to start. Or you could just say, no, well, Mark.
I go, what's my, there's lots of.
I'm a badass.
I still flip through, like, there's lots of agencies. There's lots of agencies bigger than us. Now, in the last few weeks, because of all of season 2 of Evan Pounding Me, I've landed on something that I think is no one else is doing and no one else has come up with. But it's not like there's no competition out there. And so it's shifted to a belief of like, I have like the answer. Like I have the answer. But there was lots of times, I've been running my company for 14 years, where there's lots of times where I go between wanting to be the only one doing what I'm doing, so that way I stand out and I feel special and I'm doing it. And at the same time, Christ. It's like, well, these other people exist, it is what it is. Evan, this is what normal people work through. You may not work through it, but over, me and my friends over here on the normal side, although I'm slipping over to crazy land, but this is what we work through. We come up with an idea that we're so insecure about what we're doing, right? I've been talking about speaking and I've spoken at things before. I've probably spoken 10 or 20 times at something, but that's not speaking. That's not speaking enough with enough focus that I'm doing it once, or twice per week and getting the hours in and perfecting my topics and doing all of those things, right? Like it's nothing.
Great. So for someone like you look back when you look back 5 years or 10 years and then you email me and say, Jesus, I'm going so slowly. Nothing's happened.
You were messing me up last week. So that's another thing. You kept on Monday and Tuesday when you were sick in California.
Oh, yeah.
Every 30 minutes, I see a message from Evan saying, dude, this video. It's like, oh, there's a video of you and I from 2012. Okay. This one, man. Oh, here's one from 2013. Oh, what happened here? Here's one from 2011. Like you're sending me all these old videos of us or of you being mad. And then I went back through my email exchanges of you and I. In 2013, we had some heated exchanges. 2014, there was a whole little man incident where you called me the little man, and that really bothered me. And yeah. Before you were ripping me apart on the podcast and helping me, you were emailing me in the middle of the night.
Okay, but I look back on those things and say, man, look how much Mark has grown. And Mark looks back on those things and says, holy cow, I'm growing so slowly. I've things that you said 7 years ago, I'm still not doing enough now.
Yeah.
So you lean into that. It's like, if you keep thinking this way, you're 7 years forward, 2027 Mark is going to look back and be disappointed. As opposed to say, man, I crushed that last 7 years.
I'm honestly, I'm terrified that I'll never live up to my expectations because I have such high hopes. That's really what it is.
Great. Be proud of your effort. You're not proud of your effort.
I'm working on it.
Well, that's the thing. That's how you do it. Like, it's not about expectations. It's about effort. You're not proud of your effort. You know you could do more, and you're not doing it. So start doing it on a daily basis. But if you look at the bringing this full circle, the speech about Jacqueline, or little rant you want, not rant, like the little, that great, like 2-minute, whatever you want to call it, from the last episode, where I cut and said, you have to go watch that back. Or the EO, like the best thing about EO was you recognizing how much better you are and being able to inspire them with the best speech of the night, right? Those are the moments of actual like essence of Mark Drager that need to come out more. They need to be filmed. They need to be captured. That's what people need. That's why I asked if you recorded it, so that you could just listen back to what you put out. It's fine. But those moments of content are very few and far between. It's not what's happening on your Instagram. It's not what's happening on your YouTube, right? It's too structured, too formal, too rambling. Mm-hmm. So the push to practice, hey, what are you just trying to say in this video? And then going more freestyle is developing the skill so that you can unleash more Mark Drager awesomeness, because people got inspired. Listen, those are not the people in the EO room aren't just getting started. How much you have to pay to get into EO? $5,000?
No, it's more than that.
$10,000? They don't say.
No, I don't know. I only paid for prorated years, so I don't know what it's 12,000 maybe.
Great. So the people in that room are paying $12K to be there.
Yes,
and you have to have $1 million. $1
million US, so $1.5 million Canadian or larger business.
Right. So these are not like, I'm just getting started, I don't know what I'm doing, and right? These are people who have had a little bit of success, at least in their business.
Yeah, I think the medium revenue is $5 million.
Great. And Mark, being not $5 million, is still walking in, being intimidated walking in, but then after hearing how everybody communicates, just feeling on top of the world and knowing I'm about to crush this thing. I love it so much. I didn't know it was going to happen. It's great. It's so predictable. It's amazing. All those people and everybody else underneath needs Mark Drager. But will the real Mark Drager please stand up? Right? I mean, he is standing up in this video at least, but we need him to stand up more.
Stand up more. Taller.
With content.
Yes.
So what you should be doing is thinking about if you are in the room where you are going to be the advisor, the mentor, I don't respect the opinions of the people in this room, but I can help, right? I don't respect them in the thing that I care about right now, right? If you're going to go to a yoga group, I'm sure everybody could teach you about yoga or meditation, or there's lots of stuff they could teach you. They don't suck as humans. They just don't have anything to teach you with the thing that you care about. If you're in that room, then you're inspiring them, but filming it. Because I want to see you come alive, and I want to see the reaction of the people as well, where they're saying, yeah, like that guy, what he just said there. This guy who's prorated, who's the smallest one here, who's going to bounce in 3 months, that guy, listen to him, right? Like, that's the content that needs to be filmed. But at the same time, it's still now being in a room. Like, what is the room that you need to be in where you actually respect the people around you, who you actually want to learn from, and can push you to be better on things that you care about?
You know what this is? And maybe it's not it, but it reminds me of Louis. Louis came up to me the other day and dropped like the biggest Louis knowledge bomb piece of insight ever. Wow, ever. Louis dropped a lot of insights. For me. Okay, great. He came up to me on Thursday, and at the end of the day, he's like, you know what, Mark, you guys know Louis. He's very passionate. He swears a lot and all of this stuff. But he's like, Mark, we got to keep you focused on the present. Because when you focus on the future, you get nervous and your anxiety takes over. And when you focus on the past, you get depressed and sentimental. I need to keep you in the present. That's what he said to me. And I was like, dude, then he went to walk out of the office. Like, he just walked in, said this, and I was like, dude, that's really insightful and deep. That's amazing. This is what reminds me of, like, if I'm around people who I feel like I can help, then my confidence goes through the roof. But then perhaps I'm not being challenged. if I'm sitting down and hanging out with the people that you hang out with, I would be so anxiety riddled, nervous, feel so little about myself and what have you, that I would not be able to perform. I need to find my sweet spot, I think.
No, you don't. No, because you're asking for different things. When you're in a room, and first off, like the whole past, we've talked about past, present, future, how many times on this podcast?
But you didn't articulate it the way that Louis did. That was awesome. That was, I don't know if he was reading a book, if he heard a podcast, if he came up with it himself.
No, he just felt it. No, that's not what happened.
Crazy to me because Louis, I never noticed that.
That's not what happened. Louis walked into the office. He saw you. He saw the energy you're putting off. He's probably sitting in his computer, standing up for like 15 minutes, getting pissed off that Mark is feeling this way, sitting in this stupid office by himself. I'm going to go in and rock his life. And here's the problem. That's what happened.
You need to be more in the present.
Yes.
Dude, yeah. That's where you live, right?
85%. Mm-hmm. 0% past, 85% present.
That's not healthy either, okay? But anyway.
Why not? I think it's insanely healthy. I think it's the best.
Anyway.
I think if it's Sunday and you got stuff to do, or Monday or whatever day people we're recording this on a Sunday, but if you're just sitting there thinking about, this is what people like I hate that. You're in retirement home and you're just thinking about your glory years of when you were 30 and you were crushing it.
Dude, man, I guess so.
I had this conversation with Alex on my team where he was in university or high school. He ran a Go club, like a Chinese chess, yep. Go. Mm-hmm. And he was struggling. This was maybe a year ago. He was struggling at TDS to be able to manage these people on his team, and they weren't listening to him and all this stuff. And so he said, man, I don't know what happened. When I was in high school, I ran this Go club and everybody listened to me and I was the man, and now I suck and I can't do it. He's like, no, dude, you were never great. You just led a bunch of losers.
I love that that's your answer.
Right? But it's true. It's like the people, and they're not losers like they're losers people, just they had no friends. They sucked at communication. And so having anybody to sit there and listen to them, of course you're going to gravitate towards. But now you're dealing with people who have more confidence. You're dealing with people who are better at communicating. You're with people who don't need you. It's not you. You're way better. If you went back and started the Go Club now, you would crush it 1,000 times harder. You've grown. You're not worse. You're 1,000 times better. You were just with people who had insanely low standards back then. Right? That's the danger. If you're going to look back, it's got to be like, man, I've grown so much. I'm amazing.
I do that too, though. I look back and go, no. I look back. I look back and I go, oh, this is next level. This is crazy. This is
how often? What percent is looking back thinking I'm awesome?
Well, it's very easy for me over the last 2 years because I literally have I have my physical health, my weight loss. I have the kids growing up. Like I have markers to demonstrate it. When it comes to the things that matter, like meaning business or communication skills or other things, it's much.
Okay, let's circle back. But there's two different things. There's Mark, the influencer, the creator, the thought leader, the expert, the confident guy showing up. And you need to be in those rooms where you can help people and let that part of you shine. And hopefully that's being recorded so the world can see it, as opposed to you just helping one person or 30 people. I don't know how many people were in that room at EO. But great, you had a little bit of a mark, but hopefully you can record it so that lives. But you need to be in those rooms. And you need to be in the rooms where you feel totally insecure, way out of your depth, no idea what you're doing, and asking a question like, please pick me because I'm trying to get help with this thing and this person has way more experience in what they're doing. Those are both perfect sweet spots. Not trying to mush them into this half-ass, I'm confident, but I'm also, right? It's like you're trying to solve two things instead of, after you found the sweet spot for the confidence, you just haven't found the sweet spot for the being pushed. Maybe the podcast. The podcast is the
podcast. Hey, listen, man, we're going to Idaho in a few weeks. I feel like that's outside of my comfort zone. So
Yeah, that's great. But I mean, when I went to Puerto Rico, I was super insecure about the whole thing and trying to make up for it by trying to bring value and help people and all that. But everybody's got tons of experience, a lot of wisdom, and the things that I care about, right? Like, I don't care if Dean Graziosi can canoe and I can't. The things that he cares about, I care about, he's good at, and I want to learn. And I have nothing, I can't talk about my funnels. I could talk about it to a total beginner, but I'm not going to tell Dean what to do with his funnels. He's 1,000 times better than me, right?
Yeah.
At the things that I care about, which leads to the insecurity, but then leaning into it and saying, hey, take a book picture and all the other stuff that I was trying to do. And I still probably could have done more. And I did get rejected on some things, but I'm proud. I'm very proud of the effort I put in to ask and to be present and not just go hide in my hotel room. When I was in San Diego, I was sick, right? I just got back. I was sick. And apart from my speech and the 4 hours of Q&A afterwards, I was in the hotel. Which I
apparently researching old videos of us and emailing me.
No, I wasn't researching. I could tell you.
What were you doing?
I
feel like you're putting a supercut together of like
no. It's, I left it in curiosity mode for so long because I wanted you to think that I was just looking back on old videos.
No, I knew you weren't doing that.
YouTube has a bug. For monetization, where if a video is over a certain threshold, over 10 minutes, and you've selected before and after for ads to show up, the after wasn't working, and sometimes the before wasn't working. So I went through 6,000 videos, me, one by one, looking at what's our monetization settings on these videos. It was basically the only thing I could do while I was on, because I wasn't focused. Like, I couldn't solve any major problems. I was sick. So I was going one by one looking. So I basically went sequentially. And so as old videos came up that meant something to somebody, I would also send it to them. Like, hey, look at this. Mark's got a guess. So there's a bunch of videos with Mark. And so that's why I sent them off. But yeah, I was because I was sick and I couldn't talk and my energy level was super low. I didn't want to go and obviously disappoint on stage when I was talking my topic. So normally I would have tried to go out and I got invited to the speaker events and all this stuff. And I knew a bunch of people were going to be there, but I said, no, I'm just going to rest and stay in the hotel. And I realized, like, that's what my old default used to be. Like, I actually got to live my old default where it's just, I'm just going to speak and then do some Q&A and then go back to the hotel and hide.
Did it feel gross? Did it feel gross?
It didn't feel gross, but it didn't feel comfortable anymore. And as I flew back, Nina asked me how, like, when I got back here, Nina asked how was it? Like, that's probably the least beneficial conference I've been to in the past 5 years. Not because the conference sucked, because I sucked. Because all I did was speak and do some Q&A and then go back to the hotel room because I was looking after my health, right? I mean, it was the smart thing to do. I probably shouldn't have even gone because it destroyed my whole week in terms of health. I'm just starting to get better now. But for value and my growth and like what it could do for impact and also just my business, I got almost zero from it. Anyway, so that's why I was looking back on the old videos.
Did you talk about the book?
A little bit. The focus was on social media and about YouTube. So I was talking about YouTube for the most part there. It was no pitch event too. Can I share something? I think you'll enjoy this. But please. I think our audience may not enjoy this, but you're going to enjoy this. Okay. You're going to enjoy this. So,
I'm so intrigued now. Something I love that the audience does not like.
Well, because most people won't like this, but I like it. So I flew back. When did I fly? When did I go out? It's like a week ago, basically. Something like that.
Yeah, you flew Sunday. I think you came back Wednesday or Tuesday.
Okay, so this is, we're recording this on a Sunday. So it's been a week. A week I left. I was already kind of sick on the way out. I hadn't been sleeping well for a couple of days, and then I guess I picked up something, right? On the way back, on the Wednesday, was the roughest point for me because I'd just been, the travel wasn't great for me, the speaking, and now I've got a cough, bit of a runny nose, and everybody's freaking out about coronavirus, right? So now I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to cough. I'm trying to hold in my cough.
Because they're going to think you're sick.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I am sick, but they're going to think I have coronavirus, right?
Right.
So like the woman next to me is, not happy. I'm like, okay, I'm just trying to, meditate and breathe and just work my way through this. I'm panicking that I'm going to get stopped at security when I'm coming back in. So there's 3 border guards. I don't have my Nexus right now, so I got to go through like the normal line. And there's 3 guys, 2 guys and a woman who are like checking your papers.
And you're trying not to cough so badly in front of them?
Oh, the whole time I'm meditating, breathing, all of it. But then there's 2 young people and 1 old guy. And like, okay, I want to get to one of the 2 young people because they look nice and happy. And that old guy is super crusty. And I already had the US border crusty guy I had to deal with. So I get to the front of the line and it's the old crusty guy that I'm going to get. He's next, right? Like, oh my God, this guy can't stop me. So I decide, no, he's going to let me through. So I have to walk this long line. Like from where I am to the old crusty guy, I have this long walk I got to do. So my plan was, I'm going to make eye contact. I'm going to give him the biggest smile of all time. I'm going to be like the happiest guy he's ever seen.
Like, hi.
Yeah. I went to the washroom first and like washed my hands just in case they had any like, sensors or anything. Anyway, so like, hey, it's like treated like he's an old friend. He was not too happy with my level of enthusiasm.
Okay.
But I did not feel or look sick at all. And he let me through. But the thing that I was actually, that's not the story. When I got into the car, Nina came pick me up and coronavirus is all over the news. It probably still will be when this podcast comes up.
Yes.
So I'm driving home. Nina picked me up. And part of me wishes that I have coronavirus.
Come on, Evan. Come on.
This is what's in my head. I'm driving home. It's like, I don't know.
So I could beat it.
Yeah, like I don't know. I didn't do the test. I don't know how to do the test. I guess you just go to hospital or something. But like I'm on the other side of it, right? I want to know personally for myself that I crushed coronavirus. And then Nina's like, no, you don't want to have coronavirus because then what about me?
It's a very serious thing.
Well, I know it is. This is why people may not understand or like or appreciate it.
Yes.
But Nina said, well, you don't want to have it because then what if I had it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would
I'm with
bother
you.
That would
I said, what are you talking about? You should feel even more pumped because you didn't even get sick. Right? It's like you were around me and I'm coughing and I wasn't sneezing. Just coughing. I have a runny nose. And you didn't get anything. Like, how amazing are you? You're even better than me.
Right. Okay. So now I get it. It's not that you wish that you had it. It's that knowing that you don't have it has its little ping of disappointment because it's not something you can beat.
I wish that because I'm almost out of it. I'm on the other side.
Yeah.
I wish that the thing that I had was it. It's just so I could tell myself that
you're
I beat
strong enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I crushed it, dude.
So as you may remember, I spent many hours on Friday in a clinic and then the hospital because of my daughter. She got sick a week ago Friday, like really sick, sore throat, all this stuff. And then we kept her home. She was home, obviously home Saturday, Sunday, but not moving really. Monday, Tuesday, we sent her to school Wednesday. Friday, she got sent back home sick again. Something different, but still sick, not eating really most of the week. And finally, my wife and I, we don't really freak out about stuff. We're like, well, it's been 7 days that she hasn't really been eating. Maybe we should take her to the clinic. And so we take her in and the security protocols are like, you're not allowed to walk in the building without filling a questionnaire, like without answering questions about travel. They have like doors closed. And once you've passed that questionnaire, then they'll actually talk to you. Then they won't really touch you. Everybody has to wear masks. And this is just in the clinic. When we get to the hospital, she had some stomach issues. The doctor thought he couldn't rule out appendicitis. So he sent us straight to ER for that. The hospital, the security was even crazier. Here's the greatest thing. Here's what I thought was amazing. There was no one there. Like in Canada, we have Medicare, but when you go to the hospital, typically you're in the hospital waiting for like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. I've waited 5 or 6 hours before to be seen. We were in and out of the hospital in like an hour and 45 minutes. We were in a room. We were in a room within 20 minutes because everyone is staying away from the hospitals. All those crazy cases of people who go to the hospital for no reason for sniffles and stuff because of coronavirus, nobody's going.
Yeah.
So I felt super safe there. It was like the greatest place to be. I didn't have to worry about anything. So now I hope I don't get it. But anyway.
Yeah, and listen, I would never hope that I get it. It's not the goal is to like, hey,
but I'm gonna go fly it.
But like that, it's just a mindset. Like I don't know how to articulate the lesson, but but
it's the same lesson as when you broke your neck. You didn't set out to break your neck. You probably don't want to break your neck, but in the situation where you did break your neck, you're going to be able to beat it. You're not going to take meds. You're going to try and do meditation to fuse it back together.
Yeah.
And that was that.
Right. But that actually happened. Right. And so like this thing happened. So I'm going to do the best that I can and get through it. But coronavirus didn't happen. Right. Probably.
But mentally you still beat it.
But
right?
like part of me wants to tell myself that I had it and I beat it and feel so proud of doing that.
For all of our viewers and listeners, Evan is so not a germaphobe that I have been with him. We were in New Jersey at Tony Robbins' event in the stadium where the NHL team, the New Jersey Devils, I guess, play. So think about being in a stadium, at a sporting stadium kind of thing. And he was standing at the bar. We were standing at the bar talking. And I don't know if it was me. Someone made a joke about you being a germaphobe. And you leaned down and licked the table. Like halfway through day 2. That table has not really been cleaned or sanitized. You leaned down and you licked the surface of the table.
Right.
A public table in a stadium. And you were like, there, that's what I think of that. So... Do you remember that?
It was Corona, our mutual friend.
Yes, Corona, unfortunately.
Because I was trying to do hugs because I was awkward about doing hugs.
Oh, people thought you were a germaphobe. Right.
When people recognized me at the event, they come and want to shake my hand, and I'd say, "Hey, let's do a hug." And then Corona, our mutual friend, said, "I didn't realize he was such a germaphobe. It didn't click to me that hugging is less germy than maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know." I said, what? I'm not a germaphobe. And my instinct was, I'm going to lick this table. I don't know where that came from.
And then he did it. Ugh.
It's a little nasty. But anyway, the finding ways, even fake ways, even made up ways to tell yourself how awesome you are, right? Like the coronavirus, there is a piece of me that believes that I had it. It's not the majority, right? It's like a 25% of me, maybe less, maybe like 10% of me believes that I had it and that I beat it. And that little piece of me makes me feel amazing about myself. And it's finding ways to feel amazing about yourself.
Yes. Today our clocks changed. So, right. You know how people talk about how hard when we had little kids, springtime is disaster and it's hard because you do lose an hour of sleep, right? Your kids are used to waking up at a certain time. Suddenly they're waking up at a different time and it's terrible. It sucks. Let me tell you how amazing today was. Today was so amazing because I learned how to beat the clock and everything. I went to bed at the same time I always go to bed. I got up 30 minutes. So during the week, I get up at 4:45. So I set my alarm for 6:15 new time, which is 5:15 old time. So technically, when I got up this morning, I slept in for 30 more minutes. I woke up feeling great on a Sunday. I got up like everybody else is all sleepy and I get out on the road. There's no one on the road. I booked a gym workout or whatever when I don't usually work out on Sundays, just because I'm just like, you know what? Everyone is lying in bed that extra hour. Everyone's going to be all groggy complaining. I'm going to get up the time I normally get up. I'm going to go to the gym at the first workout, which is 7 a.m., which is like 6 a.m. old time. And I'm going to do all of this stuff. And while I was driving, there was like no one around and I was feeling like I was the greatest person in the world. Just for getting up early, just for feeling good, going and doing a workout on a day I don't normally work out, my recovery day. Yeah.
If you can find things in your daily to remind yourself of how great you are, man, life changes. Mm-hmm. And people will often bucket that under like egotistical and hyping yourself up. But I think we need to hype. We live so much in the land, back to the whole, what is season 3 about? We default live in the land of fear and insecurity, that having a couple moments a day to celebrate yourself and tell yourself how amazing you are and reward yourself, I think is a good thing.
Well, and here's the last thing I would say that I just literally had a light bulb moment about. You know how that woman was trying to correct my goblet squat? And yeah. I was like, come on, like, whatever. I'm not going to listen to you because I'm obviously doing bigger and better things and you're focused on my toes. Come on. That's also, people get so worried about the social media feedback and the negativity and everything. when I get like, I posted something on LinkedIn the other day that like 4 people completely misunderstood, like just completely misunderstood and tried to rip me apart. And I looked at who they were and I know them. And I was just like, I'm so not going to listen to your feedback because you don't even understand what I'm trying to say.
Wow.
Your social media criticism does not bother me at all.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
So, if you're worried about
learn
people,
from anybody.
if you're worried about people criticizing you on social media, when you think more about yourself, that feedback doesn't scare you as much either. Yeah. Life tip right there.
All right.
You don't like it?
3, episode 1. No,
you do like
good.
it or you don't like it?
I like it.
Perfect. Okay.
And if you're living the land of disrespect, the other one is empathy.
No, I do. Jack and I do talk about that as well, right? Like if this is what someone is spending their time doing, like really, if this bothers them that much and they're spending their time doing this, then I feel bad that this is the outlet that they use in order to try and tear someone down to make themselves feel better about themselves.
Right.
I'll use that as well.
But the empathy, the disrespect is the aggressive version, and empathy is the more like understanding, softer version, right? Yeah. Like you could have gone into that EO room and just felt sorry for all these people, as opposed to they all suck with their speeches. I'm going to get up and deliver some fire to show them how it's done. Right? I know that's how you're thinking.
I don't know if that's what I was thinking.
That's what you were thinking.
Subconsciously, that's what happened.
That is, yeah, but it could have been empathy. It could have been, man, I feel really bad for these people.
I think it was the competitive nature. Like if I'm going like 4th or whatever, and I'm like kind of measuring up what people are doing, I kind of want to make sure that I'm the one that's remembered, right? So it was maybe more competition that led me to do it rather than me deciding that they suck and I'm going to crush them.
No. You decided, you knew that they all sucked.
Okay.
You did.
Okay. So did we answer the question for our audience? Did we leave them with forget red ocean or blue ocean? Just the idea.
Right. We didn't talk about that at all.
I know. I thought you were going to go into it, but just the idea that I'm not going to do this because someone else is doing it.
But nobody else is doing it. It's the choice. If you think other people are doing it, then you're right. If you think nobody else is doing it, then you're right.
That's a succinct way to answer that. Thank you very much.
Okay, great.
We'll end this episode right there. I love it.
If you want to see how we end season 2, where I tell Mark that he is a gift to the people in his life, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and we'll see you there.
We talk about Mark's giant ego.
And why Evan's success is all attributed back to me.